It was a day that began like any other, until that little nuclear misunderstanding. So now, there are only 6 of us. Somehow, each of us found our way to this farm. Now all we have to do is rebuild society.
I'll have a refill, please.
Curtis, you've been drinking coffee all day. Aren't you sleeping well?
I'm sharing a bedroom with Jack. You figure it out.
You're not so easy to sleep with yourself. Always yelling at me. Stop snoring. Lay still. Go to the bathroom if you're gonna do that.
I insist I be given the private bedroom on a permanent basis.
We decided to take turns using the private bedroom. Your turn doesn't come up for another 3 months.
There goes the generator again.
I better go fix the generator.
How does Mark know so much about generators?
Oh, they had a generator like ours at the school where Mark taught, and he would have to fix it himself because the custodian of the school had an alcohol problem and would pass out on the tetherball court in a pool of his own vomit.
You couldn't have just said Mark's handy?
Wow, the lights are back on. And here's Mark.
Suzanne, must you verbalize every thought?
Curtis just asked me, must I verbalize every thought? I wonder what he meant by that. Oh, what's this on my shoe?
Well, the bushings are almost shot. The generator's gonna require constant maintenance to keep it running.
Oh, it doesn't seem fair that Mark should have to do all this extra work.
Well, it's all right.
No, we should find some way to make it up to you.
Let's give Mark the private bedroom indefinitely.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Now, hold it. Suppose I were to take care of the generator. That would entitle me to the private bedroom, correct?
But you don't know anything about the generator.
Admittedly, I'm not as intimate with its inner workings as Mark.
The other day, you tried to get a glass of water out of it.
I suggest we hold a real election. Mark and I take, say, a week to present our cases. Then you, the people, will decide which man is best qualified to assume the awesome burden of maintaining the private bedroom, which is to say, the generator.
And so the election was on. We agreed to some basic ground rules. There would be 2 debates, and in the event the election was a tie, I would continue to maintain the generator. What's going on?
Vote for Thorpe. He knows what's what. Give Thorpe a try as generator guy. Vote for Thorpe. He knows what's what. Give Thorpe a try as generator guy.
Jack.
Vote for Thorpe.
Jack, what are you doing?
Why, Mark, I'm campaigning for Curtis.
You're voting for Curtis? Why?
He knows what's what.
That's just a slogan, Jack. He doesn't know anything about the generator.
Mark, they wouldn't be allowed to print this stuff if it wasn't true.
Jack, move your sorry butt. We have an election to win.
Right. He's a motivator. Vote for Thorpe. He knows what's what. Give Thorpe a try as generator
There
guy.
you go.
Not bad.
Not bad. Might as well start composing your victory speech. Just gone over the poll results.
Poll results? You're doing polling?
On the primitive, of course. Margin of error plus or minus 6 people. I'll know a lot more after the focus groups.
Curtis, don't you think you're taking this whole election too seriously?
Easy for you to say. You're sitting on a 16 percentage point lead.
I am?
My poll shows 2 for Thorpe, 3 for Braddock, with 1 undecided.
Undecided. Suzanne?
Technically, she was an I don't care, but that's not really a category.
Curtis, this whole election charade, is it really worth it for that bedroom? We both know that's all you really care about.
Polls are right. You are charming even when being brutally honest. Whereas the group finds me imperious, snobbish, and superior. Imperious indeed. Those low-life swine.
What was that all about?
Can you believe it? Curtis is actually doing polling. I've got a 16 percentage point lead, you know.
Just 16?
Well, Suzanne is undecided.
This is a tighter race than I thought. What are you doing to solidify your base?
I have a base?
Mark, you're obviously way out of your depth here. Now, I'd like to offer my services to you as your campaign manager.
That's very nice, but I don't think it'll be necessary.
Mark, I have managed 7 campaigns, and while we lost them all in landslides, I'm good. Hey, don't blame me. You try winning when your candidate is a socialist, transvestite, vegetarian terrorist.
What did he do, stuff an eggplant with explosives and hide it in his cocktail dress?
Oh, it's easy to take pot shots, but that man had heart. When he conceded the election, his mascara was everywhere.
Alice, I don't need a campaign manager. I don't even intend to wage a campaign.
That's the mistake Rogerina made.
Alice, look, this isn't the presidency we're talking about. It's a simple... Rogerina? Anyway, there's nothing to worry about. I know how to run the generator. Curtis doesn't. And no one even likes him. He said so himself. They find him imperious, snobbish, and superior. It's over. I mean, we are who we are.
Okay.
Fairly well, fairly well, fairly well, my fairy fade.
Going to Louisiana.
Gonna see my Susanna singing.
What is this, some kind of post-nuclear hee-haw?
I believe Curtis is redefining himself.
Ah, as Junior Samples?
Yes, sir. That takes me back to my country home.
He's from Greenwich.
Well, I don't want to start yammering away like an old maid at a quilting bee, so let me just leave it at this. It is good to be back where I belong, right here with my good friends in country USA. Well, while we're bellying up to the barbecue table, Jackie Bob, why don't you favor us with a tune?
Froggy when a cornet, he did right,
Glad you can make it, Fred. Not a bad little shindig, huh?
Yeah, you know you all right, Thor.
Don't go getting all mushy on me. Why don't you fill your face with some barbecue?
Yeah.
Well, if it isn't Ethel and Merle Skillman's youngest. How's your daddy?
He's dead, thanks.
Good. Well, you be sure and have yourself plenty of that barbecue. I wouldn't want to get a phone call from Ethel saying I'm not feeding you right.
She's dead, too.
All righty.
Can you believe this?
It's impressive, all right. You know, in one day, he has completely diffused his snobbish image.
But it's stupid. No one in their right mind would buy this.
I'm voting for you.
Well, that's just what I like to hear when I'm out here on the stump.
Ooh, one of those legs is wooden?
The man knows what he's doing. I'm telling you, Mark, you should reconsider letting me run your campaign.
I still don't think it's necessary. Sure, people are caught up in a party atmosphere now, but tomorrow is the first debate. And when it comes to the issues, Curtis doesn't stand a chance. And so the major areas of concern are the clogged intake valve, the frayed bushings, and the corroded bearings. While none of these problems are insurmountable, the generator will require constant maintenance, coupled with the strict conservation program I outlined earlier. Now, I do have some interesting plans for the casing. That would entail first
I'm sorry, your 10 minutes are up.
Really? That went by very fast.
Yeah, flew by like dental work.
Rebuttal, Mr. Thorpe?
Well, that was some presentation, all right. Now, I don't know about y'all, but it just flew right over this old boy's head. But from what I could gather, Mark seems to feel that our generator is nothing but a broken down heap of junk. He keeps talking about how this part doesn't work, that part's about to fall off. Heck, I think he'd replace the whole thing if he could. Well, I don't see it. I just don't see it. I mean, that generator's been almost like family to us. I mean, you wouldn't throw your grandmother out just 'cause she was kind of old.
She had a semi-private room with around-the-clock care. She was wearing diapers. She thought Tsar Nicholas was hiding in her linen closet.
Of course, I can't fault my opponent for his funny notions. You see, he was raised different than you and me. Brought up to believe that ideas are more important than people. That it's better to have your nose in a book than to the grindstone. That a painting's only good if you can't tell what it's of. And when it comes to morality, Well, pretty much anything goes. That don't sit quite right with me. I reckon it don't sit right with y'all either. I guess it all boils down to the fact that he's just not like us. He's not farm folk.
Yeah, he's right.
Farm folk? What's with the farm folk all of a sudden?
You got a problem with farm folk, Mark?
I don't even know what that means. It means nothing.
Well, it means something to all of us.
What is this? Suddenly you people know from farm folk?
We're not gonna have you tearing down what we've built up here.
So what is happening? I just want to run the verstunken generator.
Time for closing remarks, gentlemen. Mr. Thorpe?
I want to thank y'all for coming. I had a lovely time.
Mr. Braddock?
I don't know what the hell just happened here.
Listen to the mouth on him.
Well, what do you expect? He's not farm folk.
Frederick, come on now. You of all people didn't buy into that.
I don't even know who you are anymore.
Mark? What are you still doing up?
How does this sound? Dear voters, I hereby withdraw from the generator election. I hope all of you fall into the thresher and get ripped into tiny little pieces. Go farm folk yourselves.
Mark, what happened today was politics as usual. You have to develop a thicker skin.
I can't stand the heat in here. Let's get out of the kitchen.
Mark, the generator is too important to be entrusted to Curtis. You can't quit this race.
What difference would it make? You saw what happened today. Curtis has duped them all over to his side.
Mark, these are good, decent people. They can be duped back.
If only I could believe that.
It's true, Mark. You have a message that will resonate with these people. It's all a matter of packaging. I'm telling you, if you let me run this campaign together, we can win this thing.
I don't know, this politics, it's mashuga.
Listen, Mark, you are rightfully proud of your rich cultural heritage, but do me this one little favor. Until the end of the election, never, ever reveal it again.
Fine.
About the hand gestures. Now, none of this, and we can't
That's
do
the
any
way I
of
speak
that.
to
No,
people.
just
Oh, so now
put
you're
your
gonna tell me I
shoulders
can't
down.
even talk to
Just
people the
bring
way I
them
like to
down.
talk?
Pretend you're holding it down. I have done a thorough evaluation of your strengths and your weaknesses, so let's just start with your weaknesses, okay? You're short, you're verbose, you're boring, you're an egghead, you're listless, you have no sex appeal, you're perceived as being 10 years older than you actually are, you're out of shape, you sweating when you get nervous, your eyes shift and bulge uncontrollably, your round face, your gestures are weak and ineffectual, you tend to rest your weight on your heels, making you sink into the earth, you're pigeon-toed, bow-legged, and you have a mild case of scoliosis. Sit up straight, will you? Okay, I think I'll refrain from mentioning the hump. So, aren't we glad we got those out of the way first? Okay, your strengths. When your scalp flakes, it tends to fall off your back and onto the floor instead of on your shoulders, which is where the hump and the scoliosis really work to our advantage.
Excuse me, I'd love to stay and chat, but I gotta get back to the bell tower.
Mark, it's important we know where we stand.
I know where I stand, back on my heels, sinking into the earth.
Okay. Look, Curtis is down home and folksy. The negative side of that is he does not project youth, but from now on, Mark Braddock, you do. You will be the embodiment of youth, enthusiasm, and a Kennedy-esque charisma. It will be a return to Camelot.
Yeah, I'll be the forgotten Kennedy brother. Humpo.
Well, if you'd stand up straight and square your shoulders, gestures, no more gestures.
And so, under Alice's tutelage, my political transformation began. We focused first on projecting youthful vitality. Hi, Mark Braddock. Vote for me. Thanks. Gotta run.
Wasn't that the young Mark Braddock?
He's very vigorous. No wonder he's so popular.
Vigor established, we moved on to the critical area of wit. I guess I still have a little bit to learn about farming. I saw your wheat field out there, and I asked my campaign manager where'd they plant the cream of. Cream of! And finally, we had to demonstrate to the voters that I was the candidate with a bold for the future. And so we stand at a new frontier with our generator, one that promises to fulfill the hopes and dreams of all Americans. And so I say to you today, let us never generate out of fear, but let us never fear to generate. Thank you. Counting on you both. Thank you very much. God bless. Thank you. Oh, yes. Thank you. Counting on you both. Thank you very much. Gotta run. Thank you.
Mark, I got the latest poll results.
Well?
The good news is the public does perceive you as a Kennedy. The bad news is it's Rose.
What? They see me as a 102-year-old woman?
There's always a calculated risk. Look, Mark, the election is only 2 days away. The only way we can win this thing is to go negative. We've got to attack Curtis's character. We've got to drag him through the mud.
No, it's out of the question. I am not going to stoop to Curtis's level.
If you don't, you haven't got a prayer.
There's still the final debate tomorrow. This time, I won't let Curtis avoid the issues. I'll hit him with some hard questions about the generator and expose his total lack of knowledge. Then we'll see who's the 102-year-old matriarch of an ill-fated political dynasty.
I don't have any formal opening remarks. I just want to thank all you fine farm folk and my opponent for turning out today. That's what I love about this country. Everybody has a right to speak their mind, no matter how morally repugnant their views. Mark?
I, too, would like to thank you for turning out today. And I simply want to say to my opponent, quick, the magneto coupling cracks, the generator goes down. What do you do?
Wouldn't do a dang thing.
There, you see, ladies and gentlemen, he admits it. He knows nothing about the generator.
Now, hold on. I'm not saying that at all. I am simply saying that under my leadership, the generator would never break down.
Everybody?
Ladies and gentlemen, I have come up with a plan that will not only guarantee that the generator will never again break down, but it will produce 5 times the power while using only 1/3 the fuel.
Oh, wow. That's very impressive.
That's impossible. What is this plan?
I'm afraid I can't tell you that. You see, it's a secret plan.
It's a secret plan.
Ooh, a secret plan.
Yeah, that's the best kind.
Shh, loose lips sink ships.
There is no plan!
Now, I want to be completely upfront and above board with you about my plan. Therefore, I must tell you in all candor, it's completely painless and requires no sacrifice from anyone. Now, I'll be happy to reveal all the details of my plan after the election, but in the meantime, And yet another benefit of my plan is that we will all become better looking and possibly live forever.
This is wonderful. I was rummaging around in Curtis's room, and look, I found this canceled check.
Mistress Morgana's Pain Palace.
Yes! It's our smoking gun. He's obviously into kinky sex. Don't you see? This will blow the lid off his whole farm folk charade.
But we don't know for sure that's what this is.
Read the memo line.
For bondage and discipline, I've been a bad businessman. Oh, I'm not gonna use this.
Mark, you have to use this. It'll completely humiliate him. Of course, he'll probably enjoy it, but it will cost him the election.
Alice, if I use that, I'll be no better than him.
Mark, if you don't use this, an incompetent person will be running our generator. You tell me which is the greater wrong.
I just want to thank you all for your support. Bless you, bless this farm, and bless our generator.
It's now or never, Mark.
There's just one more thing you should know before you cast your ballots tomorrow. I'm the most qualified man to run the generator, and I hope you'll vote for me. Thank you. I'm sorry, Alice. I guess I'm just not cut out for politics.
Mark, do you have any vote for Braddock bumper stickers?
I thought you were voting for Curtis.
I was. You know, but something he said's been bothering me since the hoedown, and I finally realized what it was. My parents weren't named Merle and Ethel. And if he's lying about that, he could be lying about all kinds of things. I mean, I know you're honest, and I know you can fix the generator, so I'm voting for you.
Thank you.
Mark, that makes it 3-3, and we agreed if it was a tie, you win.
You see, Alice, justice prevails after all.
Oh.
And so the next day we fulfilled our civic obligation. At precisely 7:30 p.m., the polls closed, and we went through the formality of counting the ballots.
One for Thorpe.
We're now projecting Curtis Thorpe the winner.
One for Braddock.
We're now projecting Mark Braddock the winner.
Jack, I don't think the projections are a good idea.
You're right. It'll discourage voting on the West Coast.
Another one for Braddock. Another one for Thorpe. That makes 3 for Thorpe, 2 for Braddock.
Get ready to celebrate.
That's it. Thorpe wins.
There's something wrong here. That's only 5 votes, and I know I've got 3. Me, Alice, and Suzanne.
Uh-oh, guess what I forgot to do?
Suzanne, you didn't vote?
Perfect.
Well, I guess I'll start moving things into my very own bedroom.
Whoop, there goes the generator again.
Curtis, you better fix it.
What, are you crazy? I don't know anything about generators.
But we just elected you to a 6-year term.
Well, whose fault is that?